stuff like that. So today we're going to do like a crazy football story, something either you went to a game, whatever, and I think we're going to have guests do this too. Start bringing some stuff to the table. So I'll let Pat go first here in our first ever main stand story time.
Oh God. So the story I am bringing to the table is one we've kind of spoken about on past episodes of the pod, but we've never really gone in depth on the day as a whole and what entailed. So as you know, me and Mitchell are big Revolution fans on this podcast. You know, we try to support local when we can. Foxborough is about a 3 hour drive from where we are, Foxborough, Massachusetts, for maybe those of you who don't live in Maine. It's
Or America.
Gillette, yeah, or America. It's Gillette Stadium where the New England Patriots play, the professional football team, American football in New England, and the local team, the New England Revolution. They play down there, and I've been to a few Revolution games in the past. You know, I've been in high school to start, and then I would go to games here and there during college. I went to the Eastern Conference Final game where they won the ECF in the last time they went to the MLS Cup Final, and then my heart was broken by the LA Galaxy, who I will always hold like a really deep seated hatred for in the MLS in the very deep depths of my heart. I hate that fucking club. I'm tired of them beating us in the MLS Cup Final. The Revolution are 0-5 in the final, and I hate it. But that's not the point. It's not the story. This is the story of me tailgating the home opener for the New England Revolution far too seriously. So Mitch, it's an early ass kickoff. Having to get up 3 hours early. So Mitch picks me up in my Revolution gear at like 7 in the morning. I am drinking by 8 o'clock on the way to the game in the passenger seat responsibly. And we get to Foxborough. Mitch starts grilling. We meet up with a big group. There are like 10 or 11 of us that all tailgate this game. I have far too much to drink, far too much to drink. I spent $48 on Michelob Ultras in Gillette Stadium. I spilt a beer on a girl who was at her like 15th birthday party in the fort in front of me. Um, and I don't remember leaving the stadium. I woke up the next morning in a hotel room because I told Mitchell that I was getting a ride home with the people we went with. I slept in, there were 7 people in one hotel room. And apparently I went to the casino after the game at some point, and I have very little recollection of post game to coming to quickly in the hibachi restaurant and then waking up the next morning.
I was gonna say, I thought Chinese food was involved in this in some way.
We got hibachi, and I only know that because I woke up, came to kind of in the hibachi restaurant. But that was a journey and a half. I will never do that again. The hangover was like a top 3 hangover in terms of like just pain it inflicted upon me. I was hungover for like a day and a half. Yeah,
Sometimes it
and
happens at the football, man.
you just get on it and you never get off it. It was an absolute disaster. Great time though. Amazing game. The Revolution lost. Pretty sure. Pretty sure they lost. Yeah, Bo missed a penalty.
Well, was that opening day? Because I remember we were like simultaneously at a game.
It was the home opener. It was
Yeah.
the Revolution home opener and the Minnesota home opener was the same weekend.
I remember I sent a photo of that same weekend tailgating with Heinekens and oatmeal cream pies while you guys were like grilling like actual food.
Yeah, Mitch made some of the best steak tips I've ever eaten in my life. On a side note, and yeah, shout out Mitch. I wish he was here to fill in the rest of
Yeah.
the blank holes in the story. But that's the first one I'm bringing was the time I definitely didn't black out at the Revolution home opener.
I like that, and I think that's a good one to start off with. Mine, I'll take it over to England. Well, preface this by saying I don't want to sound like the assholes, like I studied abroad, whatever. So I have to get ahead of that.
But I studied abroad.
So I was in England studying abroad and went to Palace Leicester. So I was really excited for this one. This was my last game I went to. So I'd already been to Anfield and stuff. And Selhurst was always kind of a place I kind of wanted to go when I was over there. I obviously, as most people maybe who listen to this podcast know it's kind of hard to get tickets when you're over there because they don't have third-party, stuff. So you have to buy hospitality tickets most of the time. So you're kind of out of place as a student. You kind of stick out like a sore thumb, especially if you're American. So I go to Palace, which is in kind of a tougher part of London, I would say. Not to be disrespectful to Croydon or anything, but it is kind of a tougher part. So I'm there by myself. I get escorted up to hospitality, and it's the coolest thing. Like there's girls like welcoming you into the lounge. Like they sit me at a table. It says like Mr. Josh Ricker, which is just the most hilarious thing. A one-person table that says Mr. Josh Ricker. And you get like this nice big like buffet, whatever. I think that's where I had lamb for the first time. Also all booze included. So I had like the Crystal Palace house red wine, trying to hold my face together after a while. It was a great game. Jamie Vardy, that's went right after Rebecca got caught tattling on Wayne Rooney's wife. They were chanting Jamie Vardy, your wife is a grass, the whole time. Vardy scored the closing goal in that one and did the eagle celebration, which is now in FIFA. But my cool part about this game is after the game, standing on the corner, waiting for my Uber ride, none other than Wilfried Zaha races past me around the corner in his white Lamborghini. I still remember the white Lamborghini has a license plate that says like Wilf or Wilfred on it. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. He was like 5 feet away from me, and it was so loud. And I was like, fuck, that's a fucking footballer, man. Wilf Zaha, the man. One of like the best players I can be like, I got to watch him like in his prime. And just to have him go by me in like a white Lambo was the coolest thing ever. That's
crazy. I can't top that. I met Jermaine Jones one time.
Hey, Jermaine Jones is a established United States men's soccer figure.
Yeah, but he's a dickhead who left the Revs. So fuck Jermaine Jones.
Anyway, that's story time for the week. I think those are two really good ones to start us off. So we'll come back with some more. Next one, I think we've been talking about doing this for a couple weeks, and where it was just me and Pat today. It's a little bit of filler here. My muted words on Twitter.
But it's fine because it's funny. I am so excited that we get to talk about this.
It's one we've been talking about for a while, and it's all, I think Sebastian Pettit was the one who leaked this story.
Yeah, shout out Seabass. All right. So I don't really know what kind of context there is to this other than I was talking to Bass one day about this, and we were just talking about the podcast, and he was like, I mentioned something about I said the word top red, joking about Josh, and he was like, nah, pretty sure Josh has that muted on Twitter. And then I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, you've never heard about Ricker's list of muted words and phrases on Twitter? So, Josh, take it away. Tell the people if they tweet it, you won't see it.
I have an extensive list, and some of them I have to read around this list because, like, I have quite a few, and then, again, mental health, guys, if you don't want to see it, just block it. I have, like, Putin on here, stuff like anxiety-driven keywords that I just try to stay away from.
Let's only football. Football-related
only football
Twitter
ones
terms.
I'm going to read.
Give us 5 of the best ones.
Anfield is a library. That's number 1. I also have COVID title. Darwin is a flop. I have FSG out, Klopp's loyalty, Pep intensity, obviously referring to his book. Reece James is better. Shit Andy Carroll. Top red. Trent can't defend. And that's it. That's my extensive list of keywords that I have on Twitter.
I laughed so hard I moved too far away from my camera to pick me up. Hopefully it gets me back in. If not, I'm going to be blurry for the rest of the episode.
What'd you think of the keyword list, Pat?
That's comedy. The minute you let it off, I started laughing so hard there were some tears in my eyes when you said the first one, Anfield is a library.
Some of them, I know the tweet's just going to trigger me, so I just try to stay away from it.
I mean, yeah, it's probably smart. Don't mind me just stopping my video and restarting it.
It's okay. There we go.
All right, there we go. We're back.
And then
that's comedy.
I'm excited for that social reel to come out. Our last segment here, and we'll wrap things up for you guys. Our first Q&A, got 4 questions for you, and we'll talk about each one just, really quick, 20, 30 seconds. First one from Friday Night Counterattack Boys. Shout out them. Go follow them.
Go follow them. Go listen to their podcast. Put out really, really good content. They're, right in England. Couple of really big Man United fans. Got to do a collaboration with you guys sometime. Hopefully you guys get this far in the episode and hear this. But
for sure. First question. Name 5 midfielders Liverpool should buy. It's a good one. I don't know if I can name 5 off the top of my head. I have Bellingham, Mateus Nunes from Liverpool, Moise Caicedo.
Nunes doesn't play for Liverpool, but you're manifesting it.
Yeah, he plays for Wolves. Probably avoid Declan Rice. I've always liked James Maddison.
All right, hear me out on the Rice thing real quick, and then you can finish up your thoughts. But West Ham get relegated. He's going to be like $40 million. You wouldn't take Declan Rice for like 40 million, 40, 45, 30 in that range, because they're going to have to sell him for dirt if they get relegated. You wouldn't take him for that?
I think he'll go to Chelsea or something. I don't see him going to Liverpool.
Well, I'm saying in a world where Liverpool can sign him, you wouldn't take him on a cut price thing like that if West Ham have to sell?
Sure. Yeah, if they get relegated, yeah. I guess that's a contingency.
It's looking more and more likely.
I'd say James Maddison. My one dark horse, John McGinn. I'd like to see John McGinn in a Liverpool shirt. He'd put in a couple good 2-footed tackles, I think. Next one from Alex Quirk, Scarborough, Maine. Any chance United can sneak into the top of the table? Alex, before tonight, I probably would have said yes. Coming off that Manchester Derby win, but you just went back to being shit, so I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're very much in the title race. With how close things are at the top of the table, I think they're definitely a team on the up and up. They've played a couple more games, I think, than City and Liverpool, or City and, I'm so used to saying Liverpool. City and Arsenal have. I think they've already played. They played 19.
Yeah.
So they have a game in hand. I think it's possible, but not probable. I'd give it like a 30% chance to win the league. In my opinion, using the advanced statistical brain that I have, I would say 30% seems
Pat's
right.
brains algorithm.
I'm just Rain Manning the numbers in my head real quick.
I don't know. I don't really think there's much of a chance, honestly. I think Man City are probably going to win the league if Arsenal doesn't. But I don't know. I'd give it like a 15%.
Yeah, I mean, they have the same record as City with one more loss because we've played one more game. So if City lose to Tottenham this weekend, they're identical with City, who have been considered in the title race for quite some time. So
true.
I think there's a shot. Maybe second. I think there's a really good chance they could finish second. If City's form doesn't pick up, that's something I definitely could see happening. But I think it's going to take a lot to dethrone Arsenal right now with their 8-point gap. If they can win this weekend, be a little different story. But as of right now, 30%, maybe 35.
Next question, friend of the program, Matt Tompkins, Fort Fairfield, Maine. Will Pat and Rick ever live down a Man Derby win and Liverpool thumping in the same day? Probably not.
He said his answer was no, but...
he did give an answer, a suggested answer to this question.
Will Matt ever live down being in little old City's shadow for the past decade? You answered that question for me, Matt. Yes. How about that, pal? How have you been since Ferguson left, friend? Answer me that question.
I love the rebuttal. That's what we're here for. Last one, Sean Ellsworth. What game week will Arsenal win the league? This is assuming Arsenal win the league, buddy, but...
I think if they're going to win the league, it's going to come down to probably the last 3 or 4 games. I'd say the earliest I see them winning it is like match week 35, maybe 34.
I was going to say 36.
They play City in April, which I think could be, all things considered, the determining result. Let me get the exact date of that game, and we'll go from there. Give me just so I have the Premier League app open here. Hang on. So they play City in. Give me some fake elevator music while I find this. Hold on.
Doo, doo, doo,
They
doo.
okay. They play City on April 26th,
Okay.
which is match week 34, I believe.
No, you think that could wrap it up?
33. They play City match week 33. I
It's
think
a little
that is going to
early.
be the earliest they can win the title. It's going to be match week 33.
That'd be
If
pretty
things,
perfect, I would think, from here on. But
yeah,
yeah, I would
yeah.
say mid 30s if they win.
Yep, 33. Maybe if results, yeah, it's going to be 33, maybe 34. They play Chelsea, which
Hmm.
if we have a bad result, I don't know. Yeah, it's the 33 to 35 range. I think I think 33 is going to ultimately be the game that's like Arsenal won the league,
Yeah. Yeah.
so to speak. Maybe they don't technically win it on points, but I think that will be the game that puts them either out of reach or let City close the gap enough or finish closing the gap to jump them in the table.
Yep. Thank you for your questions, guys. It was good first Q&A. Good few segments there, Pat.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's a fun little episode. Had to make up for the fact that our dear friend Mitchell is off doing more important things like celebrating his mother's birthday.
We had to make it a little fun for you guys. Keep it fresh once in a while.
Yeah. One last quick update for everybody. I know you've been missing the Mönchengladbach minute. You've
Oh
really
yeah, shit.
been enthralled with that story and wondering how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like shit. I don't really want to talk about them anymore. Jan Sommer is going to Bayern Munich for like $8 million. So
It's tough. He's a good goalkeeper, but it's always tough when Bayern villages you, man.
that's what happens when their best goalkeeper breaks his leg on a skiing trip and is out for the season.
Yeah, that's a tough look. Bundesliga is back this week though, so I mean,
Oh yeah,
the
my
minutes
Bulls are
the
back
minutes
in
gonna
action.
come. The minutes gonna come.
Yeah, we'll be back with the Mönchengladbach minute next episode. I'll be giving an update there. My feelings will be like double hurt, and because realistically, what's going to happen is I'm going to be like confident about City this weekend, and then they're going to lose, and City are going to lose twice in like the span of 5 days, and I'm just going to be in shambles on the next episode. I'm going to think of any reason I can to not be there.
Yeah, that's true. I'm excited for next year. I'm already thinking who I'm gonna pick because it was Mitch's turn, it was your turn, now it's my turn next year. I want to pick like a team in the Turkish league, something like that. I
Yeah,
want to go crazy.
you can't go to Germany and you can't go to Spain or Italy.
Italy.
Italy. You can go to Spain if you want, and
I
then
don't
I
want to
can
go to
finally.
Spain.
Well, if you go to La Liga, I can finally stop holding the you've never watched the league, so how can you have an opinion on it
Oh,
over your
that's
head?
true. That's true. Maybe
That's another
I'll go to Liga MX.
that's another story time segment. It's the first time Josh and I met.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll maybe come back with that next week. But let us know if you want to hear the story of how Ricker and I became friends.
I think most of the guests on the podcast, I have a story about how I met them, and it's usually through soccer. So
Mm.
anyway, that's episode 22, guys. Follow the Instagram, like the episode, share the episode. You know where to find us.
Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. Make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars,
Sir.
like, comment, subscribe. Give us some stuff to go off of in the YouTube comments, or send some stories into the Instagram. We'll be probably polling for questions again later next week for episode 23. I like that Q&A. We're doing it again.
Perfect. Deuces.
Peace.